Have you ever walked away from a normal conversation and then replayed it in your head for hours? Every word, every pause, that one sentence you shouldn't have said, that one reaction you wish you gave, and suddenly a 2-minute conversation turns into a 2-hour mental interrogation. If that sounds familiar, this isn't weakness, it's psychology. Here's what's really happening in the mind of someone who overthinks after every conversation. First, let's get something clear. Overthinking conversations doesn't mean you're awkward, it doesn't mean you're broken, and it definitely doesn't mean you lack confidence. In fact, it usually means your brain is trying too hard to protect you. Let's break it down. Number one, your brain treats social moments like survival tests. Psychologists say the human brain is wired for social belonging. Thousands of years ago, being rejected by the group meant danger. So when you talk to someone today, your brain quietly asks, did we say the right thing? Did they approve? Did we mess up? For overthinkers, this threat detection system stays switched on after the conversation ends. Your mind replays the interaction not to punish you, but to scan for mistakes. It's called post-event processing, a cognitive loop where the brain searches for potential social threats that no longer exist. The conversation is over, but your nervous system hasn't gotten the memo. Number two, high self-awareness becomes self-criticism. People who overthink conversations are often deeply self-aware. You notice tone, micro-expressions, energy shifts, unspoken reactions. That's emotional intelligence. But when self-awareness turns inward without balance, it becomes self-surveillance. Instead of observing neutrally, you start judging. Why did I laugh like that? Did that sound stupid? Did they think I was annoying? Psychology calls this negative self-referential thinking. Your attention collapses inward, not to understand yourself, but to correct yourself. You're not reliving the conversation, you're rewriting it, trying to make it safer in hindsight. Number three, you confuse responsibility with control. Here's a subtle one. Overthinkers often believe that if something felt off in a conversation, it must be their fault. So the mind searches for control. If I analyze it enough, I'll prevent this from happening again. If I catch every mistake, I'll be better next time. This is driven by a cognitive bias called the illusion of control. You assume other people's moods, reactions, and interpretations were caused by you, but psychology shows something uncomfortable. Most people are too busy thinking about themselves to analyze you the way you analyze yourself. You're carrying responsibility that was never yours. Number four, your brain hates unfinished emotional loops. Not every conversation ends cleanly. Sometimes there's no closure, no clear signal, no emotional resolution, and the human brain hates open loops. This is known as the Zeigarnik Effect. Unfinished experiences stick in the mind more than completed ones, so your thoughts circle back. What did that silence mean? Why did they reply like that? Did I say too much or too little? The mind loops because it wants certainty, but social life rarely gives neat answers. So instead of resolution, you get ruminant. Number five. Overthinking is often linked to sensitivity, not weakness. Research shows people who overthink conversations tend to score higher in sensitivity and empathy. You care how you affect others. You care about harmony. You care about being understood. That's not a flaw. But without emotional boundaries, empathy turns into self-blame. You start absorbing emotions that aren't yours, reading meaning into neutral signals, and exhausting yourself mentally over interactions that have already passed. Your mind isn't broken, it's untrained at letting go. So what's the real solution? Not stop overthinking. That never works. The shift happens when you realize this. A conversation is a shared experience, not a performance review. You are responsible for your intention, not someone else's interpretation. Once the moment passes, the lesson, if there is one, will return naturally. You don't need to chase it. And the quieter your mind becomes after conversations, the more present you become during them. If this video felt uncomfortably accurate, that's not coincidence. It means your awareness is growing. And if you enjoy psychology that explains everyday thoughts without judging them, subscribe, because understanding your mind is the first step to freeing it.